I want to be able to share with you guys our general course of action. So let's say the situation is Miggy has a new client, setting up a new ad account. What are the steps that you take? And this is exactly what we do. So the first step is to review all of the marketing data. For social media, we want to look at engagement numbers, their current click-through rates, their current return on ad spend that they have. And for their website, I want to be able to look at bounce rates and site action. So again, a lot of these are, they may be unfamiliar terms, and unfortunately, I won't be able to cover them during this webinar. But basically, this whole first step is just looking at my clients' marketing data, right, to see where they're at. Because if I want to bring them to a certain point, obviously I need to know where they're currently standing. So first order of business, pinpoint exactly where they're standing. Now, second step is building those benchmarks. So we look at past data and then we tell our client, okay, client, the last 12 months, this is what you've been achieving and this is what we're going to be improving. Okay, so we set the floor, which is basically their past performance. And then now my job is to start building and making sure that we know we have a higher floor, right? That our current roof becomes our new floor, basically. Now, in the absence of such benchmarks, which happens more often than not, so if you don't have any benchmarks, that's okay. We turn into industry standards. I have a couple of things to discuss about benchmarking later when I discuss how to run your ad budgets. But just for now, just for your reference, we turn into industry standards. Okay, second step, we examine all their data points. So we make sure everything is working properly. They're tracking pixels, their email database, the social media engagement. If there's something that's not installed properly, we will make sure we install it first before we track any further data. And then we propose the architecture. So again, we basically run them through the 3 steps that I had described. We tell them, okay, client, for the first 2 weeks, we're going to do acquisition. These are the people that we will target. For the second week, we will target retargeting. These are the people we will target. So very simple plan that we write down. Now, my general rule of thumb is 60 to 70% of my budget is acquisition. The remaining balance goes to retargeting. Now, immediately I will get rebuttals like, okay, Miggy, you just told me that retargeting and retention is where we're going to be making our money. How come we're going to spend the smaller amount of that budget in retargeting and retention? It's already very difficult to capture attention, right? I'm going to share it earlier, but benchmark across all social media platforms, you're looking at 0.8 to 1% of social media traffic end up going to a website. What does that mean for you? Meaning out of 100 people who look at your ad, you'll be lucky if one of them clicks your website. Getting that one person to click is so valuable for me because it's so rare. It's 1%. So if I don't have a big base of these people, this 1% to begin with, I have no one to sell to. And again, remember the context here, guys, is this is a new client. They probably haven't done any advertising before, or they've done very limited advertising before. They don't have this base of people. So if I were to put the budget and shift it to more of retargeting, I won't even have a big budget. I won't have an audience to target in the first place. So this is the model that we work with, and we've seen that it is very, very effective for clients, again, that are just starting out specifically. As an advertiser gets more mature, so for example, for my more mature clients, meaning they have a bigger base of people, we start shifting budgets into more retargeting because, again, they have a big base of people to work with. But in the absence of that big base of people, your money has to go into acquisition. Just because, again, the fact is, and the reality is, only 1% of traffic on social media will go to your website. 1%. The video that you work so hard on, only 1% of the traffic will click onto your website. And it's not even a guarantee that 1% is going to buy. It's just people going to your website. Okay, so I will fight tooth and nail to get that 1% to my website. So that's why a bulk of my budget goes to acquisition. We do a lot of A/B testing. I'll touch on this a bit later. I'll touch on this a bit, yeah, later on. But we do a lot of testing. There's always something that we're trying out. We're trying out new audiences. We're trying out different colors on the ad. We're trying out different copy. And again, I have more advice on that later. But basically, the testing never stops. And then last, we do weekly reports on the KPIs that we recommend. Again, we look at the three phases: acquisition, retargeting, and retention. And then we look at the KPIs, meaning like what were we tracking. So in each step, I check how many clicks were we able to sell, how many people were we able to convert, how many people came back. Different steps, different objectives, and different KPIs for each.